Hello friends, and welcome back for another video here on my YouTube channel. Today is a special one. It is a collaboration between Heffy Doodle and Gerda Steiner. So let's jump into it. I have this adorable stamp set. It's brand new, called Popping By. It's got the stamps and dies. This is by Heffy Doodle. So cute. And then we're going to combine it with our Gerda Steiner birthday bear stamps and matching dies. So cute. I could not wait to ink these up together, and I hope you like what I have created. We're also going to be using the Lots of Happy stencil, and then we also have the Slimline scenery dies by Heffy Doodle. I went ahead and cut this out of some cardstock, and it gives this really cool stitching on both sides. So here is our Slimline panel. This is cut down to 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches. We're going to pull in our Lots of Happy stencil. It already has a little bit of pixie spray on the back, so that's why it's sticking, and then I'm going to use a little Heffy tape on this side so that I don't get my ink to go too far. I'm going to grab out some Simon Hurley Create Woof ink along with a blender buddy, and we're going to blend that light gray color on the background. I want it to be fairly subtle, just to have something on that background. And then we're going to pick this stencil up, and this is what I like to call a continuous stencil because you can line it back up and keep going, which is amazing for all those different sizes that we like to use, like in this case, a slimline. This way you can use a 6x6 stencil all the way across your panel. So I'll just continue blending, and then you're going to see just how seamless it really is. And voila! I love that. All right, I do want to add a little splatter, so I'm going to use this splatter tin, this watercolor tin that I have. I'll have everything linked down below. But this is a rose gold color. I'm just splattering that pretty liberally all over that background. I just wanted a little extra interest, and I love how this just sparkles and shines. It's a little light in here, but you can sort of see all that splatter and sparkle. All right, we're going to set that off to the side to dry, and then we're going to pull in all of our image from both the Heffy Doodle Popping By stamp set and the Gerda Steiner Birthday Bear stamp set. I have some alcohol-friendly cardstock, and then I'm going to ink all these images up using some Memento TUXEDO black ink. We are going to be doing some heavy Copic coloring. So these combinations, this alcohol-friendly cardstock along with our Memento TUXEDO black, go perfectly together. We'll ink it up a couple times to make sure everything is stamped well, and then we'll move on to our coloring. Little quick tips here on my coloring. The way I like to color is dark or lightest to darkest most of the time, and I'll do my best to try to put all the colors up on the screen for you if you're interested in that. But I go lightest to darkest. I've been coloring with Copic markers since about 2008, so it's been a little while, and I know that it seems like a lot of folks who get really good at it just continue, and they evolve, they start doing darkest to lightest. I can do it like that sort of, but I have found that for me to get the better blend, I still continue to do lightest to darkest. That, and I also use a lot less ink, if that makes sense. So it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You color the way it works for you and whatever gives you the best results for you. So don't compare yourself to everybody else who is doing darkest to lightest and you think you've got to evolve to that. Stick with what you like. That's all I'm going to say. All right, we're going to color our black bear, well, our bear to be a black bear. He's so stinking cute. And I'm going to start off with some W6, or W4 actually. I thought I was going to move all the way up to W8. That's why I have all those markers out there. But I end up only keeping this as a 2-color blend. And you'll notice I'm trying to stick in between areas, wherever that bunting is, so that I don't have a lot of harsh lines. Alcohol markers have a tendency to, when they dry, if you try to go over the top of them again, even with the same color, you'll get some harsh lines. So I try to work in sections. And then I'm going to bring in this W6, and it does look pretty harsh, and that's okay. We're going to work with it. You'll also notice I don't color all the way to the edge most of the time. For me, that's just kind of a technique I like to do. It also gives the illusion that whatever you're coloring is round, like light is hitting those edges. And now I'm going to come in with that W4 again and blend that out just a little bit. So it'll take away some of that harshness, and then we'll be left with a pretty nicely blended little bear. And it's at this point I've decided I'm not bringing in a darker color. So we'll just keep going with that W4 until that's good and blended. And then we'll move on to our bunny. Now on the bunny, I did go darkest to lightest. And I don't know, for whatever reason, on images that I like to keep fairly white, I do that. So I started with my W3 and came in with my W1 to blend that out. And it works. And then we'll bring in some pinks. All right, so let me tell you what I was thinking with my color choices. I already had it in my mind kind of where all these pieces were going to go on the front of my Slimline card. And so what I was thinking, to make it very visually appealing, is that I would try to do a rainbow. So on the left-hand side of my card, I'm going to end up having those presents that are at the very top left on this page. Those are the Gerda Steiner presents. Those are going to be all red, and we've made our little bear. His hat is red and white. And then our next image is going to be this little fox along with the present, hence the orange and the yellow. And then we're going to go on from there. The bunting or the banner, that's going to be all, you know, rainbow order as well. And so that was kind of my thought process on this. So here we are doing our yellows and our oranges, and then we'll do some of our bunting, and then we're going to end up doing our green next after I get the muzzle of our bear colored. And here are the greens that we're going to be using. Now I did mention that, or I don't know if I actually mentioned, this is actually going to be a part of a blog hop. So I'm going to have all the information for the blog hop linked down below in my description box. You're going to want to head there, and you're going to want to head to my blog. So I'll have the link to my blog down below, because that's where you can hop along and have the potential to win a prize. And then you'll also be inspired by the rest of the two design teams where we've paired up, and you can see how everybody else combined the different sets that they had and see what ideas you might be able to get. I love combining company stamp sets. I think it's fun when you have different art styles come together. You can just come up with the cutest little scenes, have such fun little images going on together, and it's just fun. And so I highly encourage you to head down to my description box after you're done with this video and then start doing some hopping. All right, the next thing I was going to do was a blue cake. So this is why we have these blues. And again, not going all the way to the edge with my darker color, bringing in my lighter color to blend that out. And then we're also going to end up coloring the rest of the cake with even lighter blues. And I'll do a lot of flicking. We're going to keep it mostly white. I just wanted that illusion that the frosting is a little bit white, or a little bit blue. And then we're going to bring in our purples. Those purples are going to be some V15 along with some V17. We're going to color all of our balloons with this same color combo. And I'm going to slap down that V15 for all of the balloons. And then once again, keeping it with the illusion that obviously these are round balloons. We're not going all the way to the edge with our darker color. And so you'll notice this is how I'm doing my shadowing on these, and then I'll come back in with that V15, and then we'll blend that out just a little bit. I'll finish doing the rest of the coloring, and then I'm going to bring in the matching dies that go with all of these images, and we're going to cut everything out, and we'll get ready to start building our scene. I've got some Heffy Doodle Glubert. This is the glue that Heffy Doodle has. I'm putting down my very bottom panel. This is to give it some grounding so that our little images aren't just floating, although that would probably be pretty cute too. And you'll notice that a lot of my stuff is going to hang off the edge. I kind of like doing that. It gives the illusion that there's more going on outside of the card. So I'm sticking things down, and a lot of it is sticking off the edges. And then we'll just keep gluing all of our little pieces. I did have to do a little bit of thinking about how this was going to go down, because I wanted it to look like that banner was all connected to each other. So I'm going to go ahead and glue our fox and present together, not putting him down yet. We're just going to glue him together. So put a little glue on his paws and his face, stick him down to the top of the present like he's peeking out, and then we'll put the top of the present on top of his head. I think that is so cute about this stamp set. And then we'll place him down, but we're not going to glue him down just yet. I, again, wanted that banner to look like it was stuck to each other. So this is why we have to kind of place things before we actually glue them down. Our balloons will go behind our cake, and then we'll put our candle on top. And then before we start gluing any of that down, the bunny has to go down first. I needed him to be on the ground. And then this way we can make it look like our bird is flying. So now I'll put down my balloon and cake. And then, yeah, and some of that's going to hang off. That's fine. And now we can put down our bird so that his little bunting can be connected to the bunnies. And it'll make him look like he's flying sort of sideways, but I think that's really cute. And then the other part of it will be behind our fox. So both of those buntings will be behind our fox, but it'll make it look like it's all still connected, which I think is super cool. So it's this one big continuous scene. And I love it. It's so cute. All right, we're going to let that stuff dry, and we're going to go ahead and grab our card base, which is 7 inches by 8.5 inches, scored at 3.5 inches. So this will fold open from the top. And then now we can glue down our panel. Well, before we do that, we're going to stamp out our sentiment. But here I'm going to pull in my guillotine trimmer, trim all of that excess off very carefully. And it'll once again be a 3.5 by 8.5 inch panel. And it'll be neat because, like I said, it'll make it look like there's more going on outside of the card, that this scene is a continuous scene, you just don't see it all. Isn't that fun? Next, I've decided to put a little bit of shadowing under all of our images. I felt like that would just make it look a little bit better so that they're not just floating on that ground. So we're just going to add a little bit of shadowing with a Copic color. I think this is the BG45. I could be wrong, but it's a light color, so it's not going to stand out too crazy much. And then once we're happy with that, we'll stamp our sentiment. So that sentiment's going to come from the Popping By Heffy Doodle set. I've got some black cardstock. I'm going to ink up my image with a clear embossing ink. This is the Juicy Embossing Ink by Ink on 3, and then I'll stamp that down, cover that with some white embossing powder, and then heat set that till that is smooth and melted. And then once that is cooled down, we will trim down our sentiment. And now we can attach it to the front of our card. So we're attaching that with our Glubert glue. We're going to stamp on the inside of our card base before we go and adhere our panel. So those are just a couple of sentiments from the Birthday Bear stamp set. And now we can adhere our panel to our card base. We're using that Glubert glue one more time. And then once we get this attached, I decided to stop there. This is a fun card with lots going on. I hope you like it as much as I do. So if you did like it, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And head down to my description box and check out my blog so that you can hop along for a chance to win. All right, guys, I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.